Alright guys, it's time. We've been waiting for a while. Finally, all of the grade 4s from this set are revealed. And then we can now discuss how good they actually are. Like, rank them, right? Because it's always about ranking, always about tiering. And yeah, we'll definitely make a nice list today. And I mean, all of the grade 4s are quite good. I'm not gonna lie, they're all pretty good. So I don't think there's like that many disappointments or anything like that. But yeah, we finally found out all the effects just in time as well, because the set's getting released very, very soon. And we can kind of discuss how good they are. So first off, this is the big one today. We got Virina Idea. Yeah, I can't say the name. I can't say the name for some. I think it's like Esperalda, right? Or something like that. Anyway, the overdress is on Trickstar. And then when this unit is placed on the rearguard circle, if it overdresses, push all Trickstar and cards with the overdress ability from your drop zone as this unit's original dress. So it becomes a huge chunky boy, right? A big amount of, I guess, original dress. I mean, I was about to say soul. But it might get fatter than your Vanguard if you're not careful, you know. The second effect is auto on the rearguard circle once per turn. When your Vanguard attacks, Soul Blast 1 and stand this unit. And this unit gets power plus 5,000 until the end of turn for each of this unit's original dress. So it's gonna get really big, right? Likely you're gonna have a bunch of cards under this. It'll get like easily plus 20k something. So that means, but here's the thing, like you're gonna swing like with this card is gonna get, the first one's gonna be like 13k or something like that, not very big. Then your Vanguard attacks, actually it'll probably be 23 because you know the Vanguard gives plus 10k as well. So then the Vanguard attacks, and then you stand this card, and this card is gonna get even bigger and much more threatening. But then defensively, it doesn't really get that big defensive buff that you know some of your other overdress units might normally have, that you might be used to. So defensively, people will look at you and go, okay, I want to bash into your card and kill it. So I don't know what to say. It seems like a really nice offensive card. Definitely not something I'd run like 4 of, because you know it's just, again, you have to overdress over things and it might become a bit clunky. But then again, the restand effect is really nice. So I don't know. I think this is definitely pretty decent. It's pretty. We'll see, right? How this play. We also got revealed the other main grade 4 lines. So we've got Diablos, Unrivaled, Bruce, and I mean the first effect is auto Vanguard circle at the start of your ride phase until the end of turn. You're in final rush. Just a very standard effect. If this didn't have that, it'd be pretty bad. And then the second effect is auto Vanguard circle once per turn. At the end of the battle, this unit attacked. If you're in final rush, Counterblast 1 and Soul Blast 5 stand all your front row units, and this unit gets drive -2 until the end of turn. So you stand this card as all the Vanguards, and you basically get only 1 drive. But it's pretty much what we're used to, like the 3 drive and 1 drive. Pretty scary, pretty decent, right? Very simple effect, but pretty good. Then the other one that got revealed was Apex Surpassing Sword Bastion Prime. During your turn, all your front row units get power plus 2k. It's similar to the OG Bastion one, but only your front row units get it. But in terms of like what it actually does, it's pretty much the same. Your grade 3s will hit 15, and then anything boosting it, like an AK, will still be AK. It hits 23. If a grade 3 is boosting it, it doesn't really matter if it's like the boosting is 15 or not, unless you're beating on a grade 2, right? Because like a 15 plus 13 is still 28. It still hits numbers, right? That's pretty much what you'll be doing with Bastion all the time. The main effect here is auto Vanguard circle once per turn. At the end of the battle, that your drive check revealed a grade 3 or greater card. Cost, put a card with Bastion in its card name from your hands or soul into drop. Stand all of your grade 3 rearguards and they get power plus 10,000 into the end of turn. So you can make quite a lot of attacks with this. Like ideally, you attack with 1 column first, then you attack with a Ragrail column, right? This will trigger grade 3. You can stand everything then, and then your Bastion attacks, and then yeah, it's that we have like 5 big massive attacks, right? If your Ragrail misses, then your Bastion does triple drive as well, and that will likely trigger a 3, and then you can still stand your whole column, and everything gets super fat. Yeah, I guess like it's technically ideal then to like, you know, do rear and then van. And then like if your Vanguard's getting boosted by a grade 3, if you use Bastion's effect, then you get an extra 10k on top, which can kind of surprise your opponent if they're not guarding correctly. Actually, it's at the end of the battle, so it doesn't really matter. Yeah, it's the same as the old Bastion, so it doesn't matter. If you do the Ragdoll second, you get the nice 5 attack column, which is technically 1 more attack than you would normally get from, you know, the old Bastion, but whole field getting plus 10. It hits super massive, right? Super massive time. So those were the main reveals. The last few reveals that we might have missed from all the grade 4s, right? Just a quick catch up. Let's kind of go to the other one. We've got Seraph Pure Light here. This one is when this unit is placed in the Vanguard, so counterblast 1 and soulblast 1 with Seraph in its card name. Your opponent chooses 2 cards each from his hand, soul, and regard and imprison them in your prison. So this is the first effect actually that has soul disruption. So this is actually very, very strong, actually insanely strong, right? But it doesn't have just like one good effect. It has 2 good effects. Continuous Vanguard Circle. During your turn, all of your front row units get power plus 5,000 for every 2 of your opponent's imprisoned cards in your prison. If there are 10 or more, all your front row units get critical plus 1. So from her first effect, you already get pretty much 6. Fill up the rest of the 4. I don't think it's really that hard. I think you're hitting that 10 threshold pretty easily, right? So your front row is basically getting plus 25 and a crit. Yeah, I think this is really strong. I think this is probably the strongest out of all the other cards out there. The fact that you have Soul Destruction means that every other player has to like be very careful about one of the hardest resources to get in the current game, and that is Soul. And the fact that you destroy it is pretty disgusting. Actually pretty disgusting. Okay? And sure, like this is like a once per card effect. You don't get to use it every turn unless you ride every turn. But the tempo swing is insane, right? And there are other cards that will help you prison. So yeah, Seraph Pure Light will give you a huge bump in like just a plus 6 sometimes at best. But even like if you don't have like subsequent like plays of her, you still have other things that can like bind their prison their cards from their field, or prison their cards from their hand, or prison their cards from the top there. Because talking about the Japanese metagame, and I think English as well, you know, in Makarite and things like that. So your prison will definitely get filled up very quickly and very easily. So yeah, this is a very strong card. The other grade 4 we have is Magnolia Elder. When this unit is placed in the Vanguard Circle, choose a card from your soul and you may call it to the Rearguard Circle. And the second effect is Constant Vanguard Circle. If you have 1 or more cards in your soul or on Rearguard Circle with Magnolia in its card name, all of your Rearguards can attack and intercept from the back row and get power plus 5,000. So this one is okay, right? I think Magnolia Elder kind of just solves old Magnolia's problems, which was you had a bunch of you had to use a bunch of resource, your soul. It's kind of clunky on non-persona ride turns. It kind of solves that, but at the same time you lose like a lot of the named issues. But then again, when you think about it, if you have this, then you don't need those old Magnolia name cards, right? That's like so I don't know. I think this is fine. It's just more like the rest of the package for Magnolia Elder like it's just not that great. And then lastly, we've got Maha Nirvana, right? So Vanguard Circle, continuous Vanguard Circle. During turn, if you have a unit in the overdress state, all your front row units get power 10,000. This is just free, right? Literally free. And the second effect is act Vanguard Circle once per turn, cost counterblast 1, and put a card with Nirvana in its card name from your hand or soul into your drop. Choose a grade 0 card from your drop, call it to Rearguard Circle, choose one of your opponent's Vanguards, and if your opponent's damage zone has 4 or less cards, deal 1 damage. So the first effect is basically just basically free 10k to your front row, right? Literally free 10k. You don't have to CB1 anymore to do that old Nirvana skill. The second one is pretty much like the old one, except now you ping a damage as well, which is pretty cool. But the only problem is that you have to get rid of a Nirvana card specifically, which can be a bit annoying, right? But of course you can put it from your soul as well, so you get like that one freebie unless you re-ride. But after that, again, you don't want to re-ride because you don't get like sort of ride issue. Now the biggest problem with this, again, you turn off named cards like Urza, And Urja is actually huge in terms of multi-attack, but I guess with Esmeralda, that kind of solves your issue. So yeah, I think it's kind of interesting. Anyway, what is the best, right? And for this, I'm going to exclude Esmeralda because I'm just going to talk about the Vanguard grade 4s, right? All of the grade 4s I think are very, very good. In terms of what you will play, right? If you're actually playing all the grade 4s, I think you actually are, right? I think that they definitely, they all have their spots in the deck. They all make the deck just naturally better. Triple drive, straight up triple drive, is just in the long term just better than, you know, continuous persona riding, I think. And a lot of these effects do just automatically grant you like better persona ride power. You know what I mean? The best one though is definitely Pure Light. Like Pure Light #1, I think by far, right? Because not only can you just put this in your current build of Seraph, and basically your deck just gets better, straight up better, right? You like Seraph Snow, you have like the nice thing, you can prison things, but also you get triple drive, right? This will just gives you just straight up triple drive. You also get the power gains associated with it, with just a second effect, and then the extra crit on top is just insanely good. Being able to destroy opponent's soul is massive, actually just absolutely massive, and their hand as well, so they're basically just, I think this is going to define the entire format pretty much, because you're going to have situations where your opponent can't really do anything, they can't play their cards because they just don't have soul, right? And again, if you're a deck that generates a lot of soul, you just get slightly less amount of soul, right? But also, they're kind of more checked in just, they can soul blast to call things from the prison. They have to like they're more inclined to use the counter blast instead. Well, thing like, you know, Barrow sometimes hits definitely goes over 15 soul. Normally they can just soul blast to get rid of it, but because they're actually destroying the soul, they have to be very careful in what they do. And then things like Bruce as well, right? Bruce, if they're not running Pandemonium tactics, their soul is kind of like flimsy, right? They do generate enough, but not too much. But when you put through this in the mix, then suddenly their soul gets stuck. Like they start to lose soul, right? They have to make sure they're running old cards like Gungaram and things like that. So yeah, I think Seraph Pure Light is going to define the format. Especially just both her effects are actually just insanely good, right? Insanely good, right? I think the second best one is actually Bastion, right? Bastion, when you think about the Bastion matchup, a lot of its cards doesn't really care about whether he's Bastion or Bastion Prime, right? All they really care about is that it's grade 3, and if you're grade 3, it's the entire deck. It's literally the entire deck. Now, Bastion also has interesting ways where it can just pop cards from Soul, right? It recently got a new support that they revealed today. So they got this new card, Heavenly Arrow of Sure Hit Sperar. So auto front row regard circle. When this unit is stand by your Vanguard's ability, Soul Blast 2 and draw a card. And then the second effect is continuous in the back row during your turn. All your other regards in the same column as this get power plus 5k. So ideally, what you want to do in this deck, in Bastion, you also have Dark Strain. These all let you Soul Blast everything out of your soul. And then your Bastion effect will Soul Blast the last card out of your soul. So against the Seraph Snow matchup, for example, you have Empty Soul, that is technically 2 less cards from your opponent. You have used everything in your soul that you'd want to use as well, so you know you don't lose out. You basically don't lose out, right? So I think that's like technically a nice plus, but you just, again, you've got like this card, you've got Dark Strain. I don't know if you're actually going to play this, but you have Dark Strain, you have Alden as well. They can all kind of Soul Blast a bunch of things, and makes you feel less bad, and then you can kind of just pop off and hopefully kill a lot of decks like that. And then against decks that aren't Seraph Snow, you don't have to waste all your soul that quickly, but it's just so free, right? Literally like 5 attacks, everything hits bonkers. Yeah, I think it's pretty good, right? I think Bastion is just really nice. The third, I think the third is probably Bruce, right? But I don't know, I'm a bit, the effect, like these effects for Bruce, Unrivaled Bruce, just seem very straight up really good. You know, you get your front row restands, and you counter blast 1, Soul Blast 5. But you do lose a lot of things. You do lose a lot of big supports, like Leonard, for example, right? So you're going to be forced to run like just kind of like a more plain lineup, which I guess kind of fixes the deck, right? It kind of just fixes the deck. So yeah, I guess one of the biggest issues I see with this deck is you're going to face against Seraph Snow, and you might have issues, right? You might have issues just because, I don't know, just Seraph Snow seems so oppressive. It just seems so oppressive, you know? But yeah, I think out of the rest that we still have, Bruce is just probably good because it's already a good deck. There's decent cards, decent generic cards, and I mean, you can't go wrong with a restanding Vanguard and just like a 3-1 attack, right? So I guess this comes next. In terms of, so this is third, and then the fourth. Oh, now it gets difficult. It's either Magnolia Elder or Nirvana. I guess like these two both lose to, they both lose to Seraph Snow pretty hard. All right, your Overdress units just get absolutely destroyed when you're Nirvana, and then Magnolia Elder as well. You make a field and then you lose your field, and then you also lose your soul, and you lose. Yeah, they feel so bad. They feel so bad. I feel like, okay, I feel like we have to give this to... Oh, actually, I want to give it to Nirvana here, because I feel like you can at least be very, very aggressive with this deck early on and try and get a quick win. But by, you know, putting like an Esmeralda and things like that and just doing the final multi-attack, I mean, you can just like pop off your opponent and like win. But then what I think about it is, if they like prison your Esmeralda, you lose basically all your cards, right? You lose all your Overdress cards, because it's not even like Expecta where you pop everything under it. You just lose it, right? You just straight up lose it. So that is such a huge bad matchup. But in terms of against other matchups, oh, I don't know. I feel like Magnolia is still kind of worse against the other matchups. So I still have to give it to Nirvana, but I feel like these are so equal because Nirvana here and Magnolia just all have bad matchups against everything else. Or has actually a lot of bad matchups. So the only matchups they're not beating like, I feel like they're not beating other grade 4 decks except like each other, right? And then against the other like non-grade 4 decks that are out there, they lose to the same thing. So yeah, I think these two are very, very equal in terms of power level, but I think in terms of threats, I might put it for Nirvana just because you can ping one, so you can kind of confirm dealing a damage to your opponent just to push up damage. So yeah, I think Nirvana's slightly better than Elder, and Elder's like kind of the last of the grade 4s. So yeah, that is how it is. So first place is Pure Light, second place is Bastion Prime, third is Unrivaled Bruce, fourth is Nirvana by a little bit, and then fifth is Magnolia Elder. Alright, so let me know what you guys think. Do you guys agree with my ranking? And let me know in the comments below. Alright, see you guys later. Bye.